of the school. Hard knocks, broke the rules. Had to make those moves. Big buildings, downtown. See me around, walking. Finding pennies on the ground, talking to myself. What do I do? Going insane. Back in the chains, in the jails. Coming back home. Not living well. Still out here in the cold, in the winter, in the snow. Yo, losing my soul, but I'm not gonna sell out.
If I ask young people, I say, where are you from? They say, I come from the mud. To grow up walking over thousands of needles as you walk, to see people in the streets dying as you're walking to school. My name is Michael Grogan, and I live in the poorest neighborhood in America with one goal, which is to pray with gang members, young people who have been in the streets, who have been involved with crime, and to bring them to Jesus. Both my parents are legally blind, and they actually met in a school for the blind in the Bronx. I always say they met on a blind date. And they had 5 of us. All 5 of us are disabled, so I grew up in a household with all people who were visually impaired and disabled. I ended up on a youth retreat in 1993 called Youth 2000. They had the priest walking around with the Blessed Sacrament and the humeral veil hanging from the monstrance, and they invited each one to touch the hem of the garment for healing. And when I reached out to touch, I had this experience where I could see with perfect 20/20 vision. I couldn't turn my head to the right or to the left. All I could stare at was the monstrance. So I fell on my face and I am hysterically weeping. I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm healed. I'm going to be on Oprah. I'm going to be on Donahue. This is amazing. This is a miracle. And when I picked my head up about 15 minutes after just sobbing, back to being legally blind. It was almost like the Lord was saying, the only thing you need to see clearly in this life is me. And from there on in, my life has just been nonstop for Him.
Where you been?
I've been around. I've been at 7-Eleven.
All I have right now is this, but I'll see you at 7-Eleven.
Okay.
Okay? Good to
I
see you.
missed you.
So I moved into Kensington 3 years ago on September 15th. This is my beginning of my 3rd year here. I have never seen this level of poverty in all the places that I've been. On my street alone, we've had 12 shootings since I've moved here. On my block, on Emerald Street, just going up and down since I've been here. The very first one happened the very first Christmas Eve that I was here. On Christmas Eve, I heard gunshots, and a father was drunk and shot and killed his 15-year-old son. The police came a few minutes later. The father was combative. They shot and killed him. That was around 12:30 at night on Christmas Eve.
It is a lot of dangerous places, dangerous people out here, so you do have to be careful. Like year ago, middle on a block, it was a big shootout. Like, I was on my porch and they just started shooting over a screwdriver.
The addiction to see people in the street here, so I mean not just one or two, the sticking needles in their necks and their arms. The big thing here is heroin, and unfortunately a lot of the heroin is laced with fentanyl, which is why we have so many people dying in the streets. You can walk and see so many bodies in the street, and some of them, you might be walking over a dead person, an overdosed person, and not even know it. And it's so common here for an ambulance to come and take somebody who's overdosed of heroin. We have people, dozens of people here a week for sure, but I would say a day, at least 4 or 5 who are overdosing on heroin and dying every day.
I was struggling with my oldest grandson because he had dropped out of school. He was in the streets.
It was like, I was sleeping like in a car, and it was like winter time, so it was like, that was back in when Philadelphia snowing. It was like high, like to your doors, like literally to your doors. So like getting out that car, sleeping in that cool car.
Kids not going to school, I mean, in grammar school, 11-year-old kids that just don't go. Nobody, I mean, I've just never experienced anything like it.
Like most people just coming and going, so like, I didn't really care who stayed or who went.
But it is nice if somebody would stay.
Yeah.
The big wound here is fatherlessness. that they don't know their father, their biological father. They feel orphaned. They end up in the streets, some of them in gangs, some of them selling drugs, some of them in gun violence, some of them on drugs, and some different various combinations of all of the above. Every baptized believer is a priest, a prophet, and a king. And I come as a prophet to the young people in the streets. And I have one message, and my message is, I know who your father is. I know your dad. And then I introduced them to their father.
I go by Yaya. Always lived around here. Mostly I ride bikes, me and my friends. Trying to start a bike career actually. But that's what we do. Michael, I met him a couple months ago. I always seen him around here.
He helps around a lot, the community. Keeps kids out of trouble, give them Bible studies.
So my friend E, he lives on his block, and I never knew about Mike. And one day, my friend was like, let's go to a prayer group. So I'm like, okay.
Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we have a prayer group followed by a meal or a snack or something that we can give them so that they can fellowship and be with each other and be safe. We have a lot of laughs. Sunday night, we have card night with like a bunch of old men. Everybody comes in, we play Uno or I Declare War or poker. We also have a recording studio in the ministry house. We want to fan into flame their talents, their creativity. We want to take their gifts and channel them in a positive direction. And then I have a residence, and I have two young men who have both been through very difficult situations and who are struggling along through life without any real adult supervision. One's in school, we've got him into a private school, and the other one is in school and working.
Mike had got my friend E into the school, and E was telling me about the school. He was like, yeah, it's a private school. They do one-on-one with you, which I love, like one-on-one and stuff like that. So I asked Mike if he could get me in, and he talked to the person. Next thing you knew, I was in.
He took me to Jersey one time to go to a Padre Pio festival. Padre Pio is a saint, he's a Catholic saint.
A lot of people are coming to know the Lord, having hope, reason to live, maybe getting sober or seeking school, like some young guys. He's helping and encouraging them to go to school, get jobs, not just be on the street or drug addicts, try to reverse this cycle of poverty and addiction that we see a lot in cities. And there's light shining out of the darkness, you'd say.
My superpower is you put me in the room with the toughest, meanest, hardest, baddest boy, and I'm gonna connect. And my secret is I pray with them. I pray with them. I don't tell them about Jesus. I bring them to Jesus. And he does it.
That's that next generation growing up, that he can make an impact and help them to, encourage them, do your homework, go to school, to get to be a good person and function in society without staying stuck.
I call him my guardian angel. Yep. I even tell my kids, I got a guardian angel. I never believed about that, but Michael really is my guardian angel.
You're just meeting the people here, there's that hunger for Christ and, and not just food, but also Christ. Michael helps people materially, but also helping people spiritually. And that's what he does. And the more help he gets, the more he turns around and helps other people.
Mike is a big help in the community. A lot of people trust him. A lot of people come to him with their problems because he's a great help in the community. Now they think if people don't help out, he can only do so much by himself, and he needs other people to help him build up with the success that he needs.
And so without the financial input of other people, we're stuck. You're stuck.
What will happen is we'd have to shut down the residence, so the two young men who are living here would not be able to continue to live here. One 18-year-old young man would be homeless, and the other 18-year-old young man would go back into a very challenging situation. They're both thriving here. They're working, they're praying, they're going to school, they're loving, they're helping the poor, they're thinking of others, they're softening. They're softening.
Nowhere have I seen such a direct impact for the money that I've donated being used for good. He truly gives everything he has to the people here at Kensington.
Mother Teresa of Calcutta, on a train ride to a retreat, had a mystical experience where she heard Jesus say to her personally, "I thirst. I thirst for the love and for the souls of the poor, but not just the poor, but the very poorest among the poor." And that thirst of Jesus has captured my life, Michael Grogan. The reason I am in Kensington, like in one sentence, is I am here to quench the thirst of Jesus for love and for souls.
Shine through me and be so in me that every soul I come in contact with may feel thy presence in my soul. Let them look up and see no longer me, but only Jesus. Stay with me, and then I shall begin to shine as you shine, so to shine as to be a light to others.